it's so weird. Like, I know that I don't want to say you, I think everyone, it was like kind of like commonly believed that changing the manager isn't going to change this team. It's the players who play. And I still will always say that. What's weird though, like, here's what I don't believe. I don't believe that when Christopher Sanchez went out and was getting lit up by the Cubs in the fourth game of that sweep where he gave up like 12 hits in over 5 innings, I don't believe that that's Rob Thompson's fault. Like, he has nothing to do with that. And I don't believe that, in his last 4 games, here's Christopher Sanchez, 30 2/3 innings pitched, 19 hits, 2 earned runs, 37 strikeouts, 37 strikeouts, 4 walks, 0.59 ERA. I don't believe that has absolutely anything to do with Don Mattingly. Like, it just doesn't. I know that. So you get Wheeler back, you get Sanchez rolling, you have these 2 guys at the top of the rotation. Nothing to do with Rob. I also don't believe that some of this offensive improvement really has anything to do with the managerial change. It just simply doesn't. It's still the same hitting coach. It's still the same lineup. Where I do wonder, though, like, if you can try to quantify, and the record is the most important thing, 15-4 with Don Mattingly. Well, 14-4, Dusty Wathan had the 1 when Mattingly was away this weekend. 6 straight series wins after losing 6 straight series going into it. It's just an incredible turnaround. The one thing where I do wonder, though, like, if you can make anything of this, in the first 28 games of the season, the ones that Rob Thompson was here for, the Phillies made 18 total errors, 5th most in all of baseball. In the 19 games since Rob Thompson's been fired, do you know how many errors the Phillies have made?
1, I think, right?
Well, it's 4
in
19 games, but it's the fewest of any team in baseball. Now, look, you look at range and individual metrics. Harper's still having a poor defensive year at first base. If you look at some of the StatCast numbers, I'm not telling you all of a sudden these guys are elite defenders, but how do you go from playing such a more crisp, clean product or brand of baseball in that time frame? And it's not Rob's fault that they couldn't make routine plays or that they looked like a little league team on some nights. But I do wonder, was the manager being fired the firm smack across the face that this team needed? And is that defensive turnaround the biggest indication of what can happen when you hurt a team and you take away a guy that you have a lot of respect for?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's ultimately what it came down to. It was almost like you got him fired. It's your fault that he lost his job. We can't get rid of all of you, so we had to get rid of somebody. And it's you're collectively, the 26 guys in this clubhouse, it's your fault that this guy lost his job. Now wake the hell up. And I think that that's exactly what happened. The one thing, though, I will give Mattingly some credit for on this. There seems to be, and look, I've not been down there with, I was doing the Flyers with the playoffs, and then they were away all last week. So I won't be back down there till tomorrow. But from what it sounds like, and from the couple times that I have been down there, it does seem like there is a little bit more full team participation in the pregame warm-up process.
Did you notice the note that the Phillies sent? It was a few days ago. And so for those of you listening, the Phillies send out to media members an update of when the manager will be available and when the clubhouse is open. And I thought there was something really interesting in there. Usually it just says 3:45, see you there. It was after team defense, Don Mattingly will be available. And I just thought to myself, well, why did they put that in there?
Yeah. Well, it's also so because it used to be very scheduled, right? Rob was a very scheduled person in the sense of the locker or clubhouse would be open for 50 minutes. And this was at this time. And Rob would be immediately after the clubhouse was open in the dugout. And then he would wander out onto the field and do his thing, right? Mattingly wants that on-field work. He wants to be a part of it first before he comes in to talk to the media. And like I just said, there's been more participation in that.
Do you think that what's the effect of that? Is that the players saying well, damn, we knew this guy was a great player, Look at this 65-year-old guy still out here grinding through it, getting it done. Do you and conversely, more so than that, do you think that it kind of gives Mattingly a better feel to be like directly in touch with the team? Like you're on the field going through the motions with the team. Does that put you more in tune with the team, do you think, coming in?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Gabe Kapler used to do this too, right? I mean, how Gabe was, right? I remember when he was talking with the Giant, he was the manager of the Giants, and I was doing a one-on-one interview with him, and they had just acquired Paul DeYoung. And he said, can we push off the interview for 15 minutes? I got to go to first base and catch throws from DeYoung to get a sense of how he throws the ball. Like, you're not playing the game. Like, why do you have to catch his balls at first base? But it's the same kind of thing, right? So maybe there's a little bit of something to that, right? So yeah, look, I think it's a more energetic approach, or I don't say energetic, more focused, physically getting into the game before the game, maybe a little bit more under Mattingly than there was under Rob. That's something that, and maybe that was just all they needed. Like they just needed to get themselves jump started a little sooner. I don't know if that translates. Maybe, small sample, but we'll see.
Yeah, and look, a lot of people will be quick to point out the schedule, and I hear you. Look, they were horrible against the Cubs and the Braves, and we've come to find out that the Cubs and Braves, more so the Braves, are elite teams.
Yeah.
But in games where they have not played the Cubs or Braves this season, they're 22-12 now. And so, like, that is a big part of it. Like, remove the 2-11 between the Cubs and the Braves, and this looks a lot different.
Before you get to your next point, because we have a little bit of a back and forth here between a couple of our commenters, and I just wanted to address this because I think I kind of fall somewhere between the two. So Ford first says Mattingly made lineup tweaks which have paid off. Okay.
Yeah.
Noah Mellons goes, managers are not important. Real Muto can set the lineup for this team. It's a joke that people think managers matter at all. I think it's probably somewhere in the middle, right? Like Don Mattingly's not making lineup tweaks. He gets credit for it, but let's be honest, every team in Major League Baseball, the lineups are dictated by the analytics department, and the computers pump out what the best possible scenarios are. Every once in a while, like if a guy's banged up or whatever, or a guy needs a day off, might a manager make a small change? Sure. But for the most part, that's not really a managerial decision. To say managers don't matter at all is asinine, because you do have to manage personalities. It's more about that. And there's obviously in-game strategy, whatever. We all argue with managers like, oh, I would have done this, you would have done that, whatever. That's fine. But managers, what makes a manager is how he manages his people, less about how he manages baseball, if that makes sense.
I agree. I mean, look, some people have listened to the show in more recent times, but those of you that have listened for a long time know that I was a varsity high school head coach, and it's a little bit different. Your strategy matters more. The way that you run your practices certainly matters more. Data is not collected at scale, so it's up to you to try to figure out tendencies and how other teams in your opposition is performing and what they might do. So there's a lot more that I think a high school coach can sort of influence. But I also believe that, to your point, it really is about personality management. Can I get this person to buy in? Can I make them more selfless? Can I make them more team oriented? Can I motivate them? Can I get them to believe in themselves at a key spot? And I think that does translate to the major league level. Yeah. And I don't mean to be like Harry High School, Johnny Rah-Rah in saying that. Like, the manager doesn't have to be a cheerleader or a psychologist, but I do think your ability to connect at a human level, gain respect, gain trust and belief is immensely important in how a baseball team functions. As much as these guys are professional athletes and that they have kind of almost become, they probably do, some of them become robotic in their routine and the way that they approach the game and try to desensitize themselves from all the external factors. Like, they are human beings. And the way that they are treated, the way that they're talked to, the way that somebody that is supposed to be a leader of a clubhouse moves on a day-to-day basis, I refuse to believe it doesn't have any impact whatsoever. I just don't believe that.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bob. I'm with you, right? So and then the Ford follows up and he says, so the question then is, did Rob stop being able to get the roster to buy in? And that's a fair question. I mean, it's possible that, it got to a point where the voice just was like, yeah, we're with you, Rob. Yeah, but it wasn't as intensely focused because it was something that they had gotten used to over 4 years or whatever it is, 4 seasons. And that maybe that it was now just the same message, but coming from somebody different, kind of just reinvigorates.
I firmly believe that you can more or less do things similarly from a tactical standpoint, from a preparation standpoint, and just a little alteration in the way that the message gets delivered can have an impact. I know it's hard for people, and I don't mean this like I'm not trying to say like for fans, like I too am a fan, but I think sometimes it's hard for us on the other side of it to believe that, hey, Brandon Marsh can hit lefties or he can't. Bryce Harper is either going to be elite or he isn't. Kyle Schwarber's either going to – we look at these guys like they're either going to do it or they're not. But I do believe that a guy just shows up, he's told something in a different way. I think that can have an impact.